video, we are going to see about the Nyquist stability criterion. Nyquist criterion is used to check the stability of the system from the knowledge of open loop systems. Open loop system is nothing but any physical system which does not automatically correct the variation in its output. So every time it requires the control signal. It has only the forward path. The closed loop system uses feedback in order to correct the desired output. So it has the forward path and the feedback path. The open loop transfer function is represented by G of S and the closed loop transfer function is represented by G of S divided by 1 plus G of S into H of S. To derive the Nyquistic stability criterion, one should know about the relationship between the poles of characteristic equation and the poles of open loop transfer function, the relationship between the zeros of characteristic equation and the poles of closed loop transfer function, concept of mapping points, concept of mapping contours, concept of encircled and enclosed. The open loop transfer function is represented by G of S. Consider G of S is a rational number which has the value in numerator and the denominator. The roots of the numerator will give the value of zeros of open loop transfer function and the roots of denominator will give the value of poles of open loop transfer function. Consider this as the equation number 1. For closed loop system, the transfer function is represented as G of S divided by 1 plus G of S. Here we had considered the unity feedback system. So H of S will be equal to 1. Now substitute the value of G of S in this equation. We will get D of S N of S divided by T of S plus N of S. So the roots of the numerator will give the zeros of the closed loop transfer function and the roots of the denominator will give the poles of the closed loop transfer function. Consider this as the equation number 2. Now the characteristic equation is represented by 1 plus G of S. Substitute the value of G of S in this equation. We will get D of S plus N of S divided by D of S. So the roots of the numerator will give the zeros of characteristic equation and the roots of the denominator will give the poles of the characteristic equation. Now compare the equation number 1 and number 3. So the poles of the open loop transfer function is same as the poles of the characteristic equation. When we compare equation number 2 and equation number 3, the poles of the closed loop transfer function is equal to the zeros of the characteristic equation. So the conclusion arrived is the poles of the characteristic equation is equal to the poles of the open loop transfer function and zeros of the characteristic equation is equal to the poles of the closed loop transfer function. So this is important conclusion which will be used in the deriving the Nyquistic stability criterion. If we take a complex number on S-plane and substitute it into a function f of s, another complex number results. This process is called mapping. For example, take s equal to 4 plus j3 and a function f of s equal to 1 by s plus 1. When you substitute the value of s in the corresponding function f of s, you will get another complex number. So, complex number on S plane is converted into another complex number in the F plane. This is called the concept of mapping. Collection of point is called contour. So, Q is one point. Similarly, the collection of many points forms the contour. Contour A can be mapped through f of s into contour B by substituting each point of contour A into the function f of s. A point is said to be encircled by a closed path if it lies inside the path. It is usually mentioned with direction. So in this diagram, the point A is encircled by the path A and the point B is not encircled. So any point or region is said to be enclosed by a closed path if it is found to lie to the right of the path when the path is traversing in the prescribed direction. So the point A is now in the closed region, so we call it as the enclosed path. This diagram gives the example of contour mapping when a zero or a pole is encircled in the S plane. Consider the function is represented by s minus 2. So it has 0 at position 2. Now consider the points on the contour which are represented by A, B, C, D, and the position of the points are nothing but A is 1 plus j, B is 3 plus j, C is 3 minus j, D is 1 minus j. Now when these points are mapped through the function f of s, it will become the new complex number, that is A will become minus 1 plus j, B will become 1 plus j, C will become 1 minus j, and D will become minus 1 minus j. If we see the f-plane, the conclusion arrived is when a 0 is encircled in the s-plane, the function will have encirclement about the origin. Encirclement about the origin in f-plane, and the direction of encirclement is clockwise direction. Similarly, if we analyze for a pole, the conclusion arrived is it is also having the encirclement about the origin, but the direction is anti-clockwise direction. So when a 0 is encircled by a contour, then it will have the encirclement about the origin in the clockwise direction, and when a pole is encircled by a contour, then it will have an encirclement about the origin in the anti-clockwise direction. These are some example of contour mapping. When a 0 or a pole is not encircled in S-plane, the F-plane will not have encirclement about the origin. So when a 0 is encircled in S-plane, the F-plane will have encirclement about the origin in the clockwise direction. When a pole is encircled in the S-plane, the F-plane will have encirclement about the origin in the anti-clockwise direction. When both the pole and 0 are encircled in the S-plane, both rotation will get cancelled. So F-plane will not have encirclement about the origin. Let us assume that f of s is represented as 1 plus g of s. That is, f of s is a characteristic equation. Now S-plane has 3 poles and 2 zeros as shown in the figure. When points on the contour A is mapped through the function f of s, it yields the contour B. As we move around the contour A, each vector here is a distance between pole or 0 to a point on a contour. So as we move around contour A, each vector drawn from pole or 0 inside the contour A will undergo the complete rotation. Meanwhile, the vector drawn from the pole or 0 that lies outside the contour will oscillate. So it will not have any angular change. In this figure, one pole and 2 zeros lies inside the contour. So the net angular change will be in the clockwise direction with one rotation. So thus we can derive the Nyquist criterion for stability as follows. N equal to P minus Z. So N is the number of counterclockwise rotation of contour B about the origin. So when N is in the clockwise direction, it is represented in negative. P is the number of poles of the characteristic equation inside the contour A. Z is the number of zeros of the characteristic equation inside the contour A. Alternatively, we can write Z equal to P minus N. So we already found that the poles of the characteristic equation is equal to the poles of the open loop transfer function, and zeros of the characteristic equation is equal to the poles of the closed loop transfer function. So for determining the stability, we should know about the position of poles of the closed loop transfer function. If we extend the contour to include the entire half plane, we can count the P. That is, from minus infinity to infinity, if we extend the contour, we can able to calculate the value of P. Now the problem is how to find the N. N is the number of encirclements. Encirclement can be found only through mapping. So what if we map through open loop transfer function instead of the characteristic equation? That is, characteristic equation is represented by 1 plus g of s, and the open loop transfer function is represented by g of s. So what will happen if we map through open loop transfer function instead of the characteristic equation? So the resulting contour will be the same, except that it is translated to one unit left. Now we have to count the rotation about -1 instead of rotation about origin. See these diagrams to know how to apply Nyquist criterion to determine the system stability. So in the first case, P is equal to 0. So P is the number of enclosed open loop poles. So there is no poles inside the contour, so the P will be equal to 0. And there is no pole or 0 inside the contour, so there will not be any encirclement about the -1. So then n will be also equal to 0. When we substitute in z equal to p minus n, z will be equal to 0. So what is z? It is the number of closed loop poles. So the number of closed loop poles is 0 in right half plane. When there is no pole in the right half plane, the system is said to be a stable system. So consider the case second. Here the number of poles enclosed is equal to 0, that is p is equal to 0, and there are two zeros inside the contour, so there will be two encirclement clockwise direction about -1. So the n will be equal to -2. Since it is in the clockwise direction, it is represented in negative. So n will be equal to -2. When we substitute in z, z will be equal to p minus n, that will be equal to 2. That means z is equal to 2. There will be a 2 right half plane poles. Z is nothing but the closed loop poles. So there will be a 2 closed loop poles in the right half plane. So when there is poles in the right half plane, the system is said to be a unstable system. To conclude, we can define the Nyquistic stability criterion as: if the g of s contour in the g of s plane corresponding to Nyquist contour in the s plane encircles the point -1 plus j0 in the anticlockwise direction as many times as the number of right half s plane poles of g of s, then the closed loop system is said to be stable one. Thank you.